Hey guys, it's Brian over at CrossCountry. I thought I would share some information about second homes or vacation homes. We have had some clients inquire about, well, hey, I own a home here in Chicagoland, and I want to buy a house up north in Wisconsin or down south in Arizona or Florida. What do we do to do that? So one thing I want to make sure that you're super crystal clear on is a vacation home, which in the mortgage world we call a secondary home because it's not your primary place of residence, can absolutely be completed. The challenge there is we have to document that you have enough income to support your existing debts, including your current mortgage, plus the new mortgage on the second home, of course. But one thing that I want to mention here is that at closing on a second home loan or a vacation home loan, you're going to sign a rider. And the reason I want to bring this up is I think a lot of people don't really understand this, and it confuses people. And the last thing I want is for a surprise at the closing table, especially over something as important as this. So when you buy a second home, you'll sign a rider at the closing that basically says that you're going to maintain control over the property and you're not going to lease it or rent it out for a quote unquote long-term rental. Mortgage guidelines don't specifically say anything about how long a long-term rental is, but typically it's probably going to be 6 months or 12 months or longer is what we generally use as a guideline internally. So if you're going to buy a condo in Florida on the beach and you're going to be down there maybe 4 to 6 times a year, that's a vacation home. And if you want to rent that out while you're not there, like short-term rentals, like an Airbnb or a VRBO, you can absolutely do that. No issue whatsoever. But you can't go and sign like a 1-year lease and put a tenant in there, or a 6-month lease and put a tenant in there, because part of that rider that you're going to sign at closing says that you're going to use it as a vacation home for at least a year. So if you're going to buy a vacation home and sign a longer term lease and not do an Airbnb, we have to look at financing the property as what we call a non-owner occupied investment property. And this is super important because a non-owner occupied investment property is going to require you to put down typically 20 to 25% or more. You can buy a vacation home, or a rental property, investment property with as little as 15% down, but the costs are super expensive because mortgage insurance on a non-owner occupied home is very expensive. So we typically see somebody paying 20 to 25% down up front when they're buying an investment property. So if you're buying a $300,000 property, you can buy it as a vacation home and put as little as 10% down. Yeah, you're going to have some form of mortgage insurance, but that's basically $30,000 versus 20% or more for the investment property, so $30,000 or $60,000. So the delineation here, the important thing to keep in mind is you have to rent it out for short-term periods of time for at least a year before you can call it anything else. And if you got any questions about this, don't hesitate to reach out to us. And again, we can lend in 50 states, so I'm happy to help anywhere you think you want to buy a property in the country. So give us a call, 847-603-4778.